Well, hello again, Reverend Joel Kershaw of the Brighton United Methodist Church, coming at you from our sanctuary here in lovely Brighton, Colorado, with one final video. I promised you one more video, and here it is. We're going to talk in this video about the voting procedures. Normally, this wouldn't be a video-worthy subject in a meeting like this, but because of the nature of the motion that we're entertaining, and the desire of the annual conference to be as precise as possible, we are having to be particularly precise in the way we take our vote in all of these procedures. So it does warrant a little bit of background and some information to prepare you for Sunday's meeting. First of all, when you get to the meeting, whether you go to the brunch, come to worship or not, I pray that you will come and join us for the whole morning. But once we get ready for the meeting, we'll have you come into the sanctuary here and check in, signing off on your next to your name on the printed member list. That's going to be the first step. When you sign your name, you're going to be handed your paper ballot. Now, this is for people in person. We'll get to online folks in a moment. Once you sign the member list, you'll receive your ballot, and then you can take your seat in the sanctuary as we prepare to begin the meeting. Once everybody has signed in and has their ballot, we will begin the meeting. Now, once we finish the debate and the questions and all of that, we get to the voting portion. And you will look at your ballot, and your ballot will have a couple of important things to note. First of all, who can vote? Any professing member of our congregation is eligible to vote in the all-church conference. I am not a member of our church. I am a member of the Mountain Sky Annual Conference, and so I do not get the right to vote at this meeting. But you, as a professing member of the church, will get the right to vote. Now, it's important to understand what we mean by professing member. It is very possible for you to be active in our ministries, to attend worship regularly, to even be on a committee here at the church and not be a professing member of the church. In order to have been a professing member of the church, you have to have talked to me or one of the previous pastors here and been accepted as a member. If you've been accepted as a member at a different United Methodist Church, then you need to initiate a transfer of your membership to our church, and you do that simply by talking to me. And so if you haven't done one of those things, then you are not quite yet a professing member. And we would love to invite you to consider membership, and some people have as a result of this requirement to be a member. But just be sure that you are a member. We've been asking people for weeks now at this point to verify that they are on our member list, and that is really important because if you show up on Sunday and you go to sign in to the member list and your name is not on that list for whatever reason, you will not be allowed to vote. So it is very important that you know that you are a professing member. Now, one other category of people is our youth, our teenagers. Some teenagers will be allowed to vote, but some will not, and this is the distinction. You must be a professing member, and in order for a youth to be a professing member, someone under 18 years of age, they have to have been baptized and gone through our confirmation class. And then, at the end of confirmation, they're faced with a decision. Do they want to profess their faith in Jesus Christ and become a member of our church? If they've done that and they've become a member of our church, then they are, just like all the adults here, eligible to vote. There is one distinction, though. First of all, if you have not yet been through confirmation, then and you are under 18, then you are not yet a professing member. You are a preparatory member of our church. And unfortunately, preparatory members are not eligible to vote in the meeting. So they have to have gone through confirmation and professed their faith and formally joined the church. The last crop of youth to be able to do that was in 2019. We had a large group of youth who did join and are professing members. So if you have confusion about that, you can reach out to me. I would love to help navigate and explain that to you further. The one caveat for those, and the important aspect on that ballot that you will see in person, is you will need to indicate at the top of that ballot that you are under 18 at the time of the vote. You will also indicate your age as of the date of our vote, February 19th. next to your name when you sign in on that member list to get your ballot. So you'll have to indicate your age on the member list when you sign in, and you'll have to indicate on your ballot that you're under 18. And that is not going to affect whether your vote counts, but there are some legal things that could come up in the future, and they want to just make sure they can identify those votes that are by youth who are under the age of 18 at the time of the vote, just in case. But it should not affect your vote counting on Sunday. Okay, so for those of you who are over 18, you won't need to worry about that box on the ballot. You'll just need to worry about the three options. You'll have the printed motion that will be presented by Mickey, as we talked about in our last video. And beneath that, you will have the options yes, no, and abstain. Now let's talk a little bit about voting. It seems like voting would be pretty simple, right? You like the motion, you vote yes. You don't like the motion, you vote no. But you need to understand some critical components here. First of all, if you vote yes, it is true. You do support the motion to disaffiliate, and you're asking that the church disaffiliate from the United Methodist Church. If you want to remain in the United Methodist denomination, you would say no, meaning you do not support the motion to disaffiliate. Where it gets tricky is abstain. That is a third option, and it is a required option. It has to be on the ballot, and it is available to you if you want. But it's important that we understand what abstention means. To abstain is to not vote. It is actually not a vote at all. It is an explicit expression of not voting, right? Now, normally, abstentions, because they're not votes, they don't usually count toward percentages of the vote when we calculate does the motion carry. The problem is the language in the Book of Discipline under paragraph 2553 states very clearly that the vote is to be 2/3 of those members present. So if you are here, present at the meeting, you sign in on the member list and receive a ballot, you have to cast your ballot. Even if you abstain, you have to cast your ballot. The number of ballots that we collect has to match the number of members who are signed in on the member list. Now that's important because if you abstain, it does count toward the total. It's not those who are present and voting that count, it is those who are present. So 2/3 of the members who are present at our meeting, meaning you've signed in on the member list, has to approve the vote for disaffiliation or it does not pass. What that really means, in simple, plain English, is that if you abstain in the vote, it is the same effect as voting no for the motion. Okay? So just hear me again. I'm going to say that one more time. If you abstain on our vote, it is the same result as if you were to vote no. It is a third option, and I understand that you may feel like abstention is the way you want to vote. You're not maybe convicted about wanting to leave or not wanting to leave. You just want us to all get along. You want this to be your church. I understand. I understand fully. Trust me. But I want to challenge you, as I've challenged people throughout this whole process. Make a choice. Abstention is your right, and I'm not going to say you can't abstain, but I am going to encourage you to prayerfully and advisedly, educate yourself, pray it up, do some worship, spend some time with the Lord, ask God what He wants for this church, and then cast your ballot, yes or no. We'll leave it up to God from there. But I want you to consider casting an actual vote. Abstention might make you feel nice. It might seem like maybe it's not going to make people angry, but it's as good as a no vote, and it will affect the total. And so it's really important that we actually make a decision, that we are proactive about consciously making the choice that we think is the right one. Where is God calling this church as far as you can discern? That is what the question is, really. So you can abstain. I would encourage you not to abstain. If you must abstain, if you really feel like you just can't possibly make your choice up, you have some options. You can either not attend our meeting. That would be one option, but we love you and we want you here. And so if you would like to attend our meeting, but you just cannot vote yes or no, then I would encourage you not to sign in on the member list, even if you are a member. stay in observation, in the observation section here during the meeting. You can observe the meeting and see what happens, but I would encourage you not to sign in unless you're really convicted that you want to sign in and cast your ballot. Those are your options, okay? Now, what does that all mean? So we need 2/3 of those present to vote yes in order for disaffiliation to carry. That is 66.67%, essentially, right? 2/3 of those present and voting have to approve the motion to disaffiliate. That also means that if we have 65% of the people who show up who vote for disaffiliation, even though that is a clear majority, it is not enough. And so the motion would not carry in that case. It is very, very critical that this vote be decisive, because it is our only opportunity to vote. Once the decision is made on Sunday, there's no going back. If we vote to disaffiliate, we can always change our mind. Of course, the United Methodist Church won't kick us out. But if we don't decide to disaffiliate, then there's no more options for us. We are going to remain in the United Methodist Church for the foreseeable future. So prayerfully and earnestly seek the Lord about how you want to pursue our future together as a church. And then we'll let God work in the midst of this flawed process. As I've said in previous videos, I hate voting. It is the absolute worst way to make any decision, except for all the other ways. So we're stuck with it, and we're going to do our best with it, but I want to invite you to do that. Now, when we come together, as I mentioned in previous videos, there will be a time for debate. There will also be this time for voting, and there is going to come a time when we know the result of the vote, and we will start moving forward with what's next. It is really critical for us as followers of Jesus and as brothers and sisters in Christ that regardless of how the vote turns out on Sunday, we need to be compassionate and understanding and loving toward one another. We need to be about nurturing each other in Christian love and support, and we need to be about banding together as a congregation no matter what the result. If you vote to stay in the UMC and the vote turns out for disaffiliation, you don't have to leave. This is your church home. You are more than welcome to stay, and no one will know you voted against it. If you voted to leave and we end up staying in the United Methodist Church, you can still stay too. No one will know your vote either. It is really critical to know that this can still be your church home regardless of how Sunday turns out. And I really encourage you to consider banding together as a congregation and continuing to serve the Lord in this important way as we move forward into the future. Now, as always, we've had letters. This is our third and final video in preparation for Sunday's vote, and I really want to encourage you, if you have not availed yourselves of the letters or these previous videos, you can check all those out, educate yourself. Please take the time to understand what's happening and why, and prayerfully consider how you can cast your ballot and make your voice heard. I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. I look forward to praying with you, and I look forward to moving forward from Sunday's vote, regardless of how it turns out. Well, friends, God bless you, and we'll see you all on Sunday.